This live is all about trying to really dig into the least known ways that this conflict in the Middle East will hit us and hit us hard. We are not really, I think, thinking about the future. We're thinking about what's going on now, the current. So we're thinking about oil prices, i.e., gas prices. We're thinking about food prices. But there are so many patterns that we need to be aware of in order for us to stay ready. And so before we proceed, I'm going to do a quick introduction for those of you that are new here. Hey everyone, I am Kim, aka Kim with the Gems. And on this channel, we talk all things money, travel, and wellness in an effort to stay ready so we don't have to get ready for all of the changes, all of the chaos and confusion that is happening. Those who will fare better are those who are proactive with the knowledge that they have and position themselves to be in a place of success. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about ways to stack the odds in our favor, to position ourselves for success by understanding and knowing what is likely to come, right? There are no guarantees, but what is likely to come based on patterns of the past and what some key experts are predicting for the future. So let me just make sure that, and let me just also quickly note that it is hot in the South. It's over 100 degrees with the humidity factor. So although I was in the house ready to start at 5, I was super shiny, super hot, super sweaty. So I needed to take a beat, cool down, and like kind of clean up, so to speak. So I apologize for the delayed start, but I wanted to, at least look a little presentable when I came on live. So if you are new to this channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, become part of the Gem Nation family. Also, turn on your notifications, and this way you'll know when we are either delayed or posting a new video or coming on live. And yeah, also don't forget to like this video if there's anything that you hear that resonates with you, that makes sense, or that you want to hear more of. Like I get to see the likes, so the videos that tend to fare better are the ones that I will go ahead and do a part 2 or more, cover more information about what's going on. So on this channel, we definitely have talked about, getting our cash flow up, making sure that our paychecks are not the only incomes that we are reliant on. The cost of living is increasing. And if your paycheck is not increasing at the rate of cost of living, then you are not positioning yourself for what's to come. Also, really understanding that the conflict is not going to affect everyone the same way. The people that will be hit hardest are those who are reliant on one source of income. What is it called when people say, and I did a video about this, fixed income. We are not going to be conditioned to believe that our income needs to be fixed, especially as the cost of living is not fixed. And this war is going to prove that time and time again. And so quickly, what I want to do is do a quick list of the areas that will be affected, but then we're going to get into how we will be most affected. We as people who tend to have the jobs that are getting cut, we tend to have the jobs that fall under the DEI spectrum, or they can place it under the DEI spectrum. I mean, we are literally looking at the Army cutting people who suffer from, I forgot the condition, but blackheads, men who have blackheads due to their curly ingrown hairs, right? Hyper something. But anyway, this is the type of world we are living in right now. And so we have to play chess. We have to learn how to play chess because they are not going to stop anytime soon targeting our pockets. And so when you know better, you do better. If you know that this is what's coming, then you find opportunities and ways to, even though you can't stop it, you can try your best to keep up with what's going on. And so let me go ahead and just go through the list of areas, the list of goods and services that are expected to be impacted, some currently, and then there's some that we will see happening in the future. And it includes everything from food to housing to clothing to electronics, medical supplies, freight, everything under the sun is probably going to be impacted directly or indirectly based on the conflict in the Middle East. So we all know about energy and fuel, right? Which includes crude oil, gasoline, diesel fuel, jet fuel, and natural gas. All of those areas fall under the energy and fuel umbrella. All of those sub areas that I just listed, just try to think of everything that you do on a daily basis that uses or consumes oil, gasoline, fuel, and gas, like natural gas. Just think about those areas. All of those areas will be impacted. Transportation and logistics, truck, freight, and shipping. I don't know if you know what's going on with the UPS, FedEx, USPS, deliveries. All of those areas are going to be impacted. And it's technically in the news, but it's not top of news right now. So again, I just wanted to bring this to you because we have to stay ready so we don't have to get ready. I'm starting to sweat again. It is humid. Warehouse shipments, global shipping, supply chains, delivery services and delivery costs, air travel, plane tickets, all of that falls under transportation and logistics that will be impacted by what's going on in the Middle East. Of course, like I said, most of us talk about food, groceries, but do we know that everything, well, let's food in general, right? We know that will be impacted and has been impacted. You look at the price. Matter of fact, I think I'll share just a grid, a graph that I found, if I can find it. And I don't know where I put it, but there's a graph that gives you, is this it? There's a graph that shows like what prices were. I think it was like 2 years ago. Oh, you know what? I think it's an IG post. Let me see if I could pull that up. I'm gonna I think this might be, is this it? Okay, yeah. So let me pull this up and we can talk about it real quick. But we know that food prices are going to absolutely be impacted. Hi, Miss Charlie. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. And let me put the comments on the screen, on the stage. There we go. Okay. No, I'll keep it regular. There we go. Okay, so I am going to share this screen and we can quickly show the differences in prices. Okay. Hopefully you can, yep. So you can see that basically it's showing that, and listen, I don't even want to talk blue, red, but let's just talk about a year and a half ago or a little more than a year and a half ago versus today. Gas was averaging $3.13 a year and a half ago. It's currently at $4.59, and that goes up and down. But right now, oil is over $100 a barrel, like it's 120 something dollars a barrel, I think as of yesterday. Talks are that it will go to $200 a barrel. Now, it may ebb and flow, but we expect it to continue to rise. Your electricity, 17 cents, 17 and a half cents per kilowatt. Add another 5.2 cents, and it's now at 22.7 cents. We're talking about oil, crude oil. Well, oil, a barrel was $70. Now it's over $120. Water, oh, excuse me, oil, I'm sorry. Heating oil was $2.50. It has doubled to almost $5. Coal, you can look at the numbers, beef, as well as bread. That's just a small fraction of the increase in the past year and a half. But those are some of the most common areas that are talked about. We have not talked about how this is going to affect your healthcare. We have not talked about how it's just going to affect your day-to-day, everyday living in life. So let me go ahead, remove this real quick, and get back to back to the most uncommon areas and things that they're really not talking about. So we did talk about groceries. We talked about food in general, going out to restaurants. Not only are the prices going up, the portions are going down. Prices up, portions down. Stagflation. Anyone who buys snacks, you see what used to be a 10-ounce bag is now a 6.7-ounce bag. The only difference is the price has increased drastically. Crops increasing, farmers markets. You go to farmers markets now, this time last year, the same bucket of peaches that cost me $6 is $10. Farmers have to make money. Fertilizers increasing as well. Ammonia and nitrogen fertilizers, animal feed, meat and other animal products, as we just referenced, which is going to completely, I don't like to give numbers, but by the end of this year, the numbers will continue. Your grocery bill numbers will continue to rise because of what is happening in the Middle East. Anyone who has a home or is thinking about building a home or is renting a home, all of those expenses are going to drastically increase. All housing costs are expected to increase. We looked at oil, we looked at gas, we looked at electricity. All of those numbers are going to increase versus decrease. We talked a few months ago about if you can lock in, and this was a few months ago, lock in a certain rate for these monthly fees without signing your life away. You definitely have to read the fine print. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it now before you can't. Construction costs, not only are the cost of goods for construction, so like the wood, the cement, all of that stuff going up because of shipping and transportation. The actual cost they are doing it's very interesting now. They are adding fees. Certain states and counties are adding additional fees just for constructing a home. Like fees that you never had to pay before. It's called, it's like a construction fee, right? And some of those are in the thousands, depending on the size of house and all of that. Your overall housing costs are going to continue to increase. So we've already talked about the area of energy and fuel. We talked about transportation and logistics. We talked about food and agriculture, housing now, all consumer goods, your clothing, your fabrics, if you are, no matter what you're doing, if you're like for furniture, like anything that requires fabrics, those prices are going to go up. Plastic, the price of plastic is going to increase as well. Packaging, which whatever you order, whatever you buy comes in packaging. Those numbers are going up, or the cost is going up. Electronics as well. Your consumer goods pricing, whatever you can think of, 90% of the chance, it's a 90% chance that those numbers are connected to something that I just read off. Motor vehicles, automotive, those numbers, if it has to do with shipping, not just the shipping of the car, the shipping of the parts, car manufacturing, all of those numbers are going to skyrocket. But like I said before, your paycheck is not going to skyrocket. If anything, it will stay stagnant. Worst case scenario, we all see what's happening. How many Black women have been laid off? How many women are being targeted at jobs? I hope you are picking up what I'm putting down. Medical supplies across the spectrum. A lot of people don't realize the connection between the goods that are being, like helium, I think I mentioned that yesterday, that are directly connected to medical practices, MRI machines, all of those things are going to see increase in costs, which will get passed down to the patients. And by all real expectations, oh, this is going to be a long war. They would not be asking for the type of money that they're asking for, or have since gotten approved by one part of the government, if they didn't expect this to go on and on. There's also, so the ribbon in the sky, right? Everything that I'm running off as well, there's stocks, there are investments that you can make, that you can ride that wave up. And I'll talk more about the stock programs that, we are bringing back, that we shared the end of last year, I think we did. But those will be coming back. But there's a way, and it will have a keen focus on these areas that we should be paying attention to, that have no choice but to increase along with the prices. And so we'll talk more about that later. But once you get this knowledge, it's up for us to take action. Otherwise, you'll wish you did. You will absolutely wish you did. I talked about medical supplies, which include everything from some of the metals and raw materials that are needed to do everything from labs to testing to so many other things when it comes to the medical field, from copper to cobalt to sulfuric acid. All of those things are directly impacted by what's going on in the Middle East. And then now let's get to technology and infrastructure. From the electrical grids, from the data centers, from AI centers, technology industries, energy infrastructure, manufacturing as well. All of these areas are impacted by what's happening at the Strait of Hormuz. We talked about gas and oil. So any type of delivery service that you can think of, and some of you who use certain services like Instacart or even Uber Eats or even Uber have seen drastic price increases, have seen additional service fees that started taking place months ago, because they know They're not going to wait for what most experts are saying or expect to happen to start imposing those fees. No, they're imposing them now, which means you need to offset these additional fees. And I have a whole list of videos on this channel on how to get your money up, basically increase your revenue streams to be able to do that. So if something is staying stagnant, if one of your income streams is staying stagnant, you're able to subsidize it with a different income stream. So everything from delivery, and we see, I could give, I want to cry based on how much I used to pay to fly back and forth from New York to Myrtle Beach and how much I pay now. It's at least 3 times as much, and the only reason I hesitate because I'm flying back on a different airline, so whereas I used to be able to pay $100 round trip if I booked in with enough advance notice, Spirit Airlines, now I'm looking at easily round trip $400. I have other trips planned and similar pricing. I booked very early to try because I knew what was coming. So I like have to go to Mexico. I have another trip planned as well. I booked those trips with insurance. So if I have to cancel, I'm covered. Those flights are like $500 more than when I originally booked a few months ago. So plane tickets, bus tickets, no matter your mode of transportation, expect those increases. So interest payments are going to increase. The job market is going to decrease. Well, opportunities in the job market. There are so many ways that we are going to be impacted that this would really take more than one video for me to cover all of them. But I want you to really understand that we need to stop just thinking about gas and eggs or gas and milk or gas and meat. We have to think holistically about every single thing that you do and how much that's going to cost you more this time next year or by the end of this year, and start playing catch up. Now, let's really talk about why we, Black Americans, African Americans, are going to get hit harder. The war is not going to impact everyone the same. And it's going to impact those who have less assets that not just less assets, less liquid assets than the ones that don't. Unfortunately, we have been hoodwinked and bamboozled in so many ways. So you talk home ownership. And I can't see comments, so I'm not sure if anybody's commenting. Let me see. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, Lisa. Good to see you. Hola, hola, mis amiga y mis residente temporal de Mexico, hermana. Good to see you. Quality for everything is atrocious. That's the first word that comes to mind. You are absolutely right. The recalls are a whole nother, and those are going to get worse too, right? The recalls, the parasites, all of the things are going to, get worse instead of better. Hey, moderator with the wrench. Good to see you, Christine. Hey, Yvette. Good to see you. Oh, well, I'm glad you got the notification because some people are not getting it. Oh, and thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, seriously, I know you are staying ready. This is everybody in here is part of the Stay Ready sorority. I appreciate y'all. But hold on a second. Let me remove this and get back to my notes. I forgot where I was going with that. But I wanted to say that we are definitely going to be hit the hardest because unfortunately we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. That's where I was going with that. We have mortgage rates that are higher than the others. We have less built up equity to take on these rising costs. Remember, I said it's not just about your assets, it's about your liquid assets. It's about having the opportunity to go to cash or pull out cash if you need cash. If for some reason, you know, prices double in your household, will you be able to, sustain that? We have loans that are higher than the average, or excuse me, we have rates, interest rates on loans that are higher than the average. I saw somebody, they did a video, and he used to work at a um, dealership, a car dealership, and he was talking about how the salespeople would hate to see almost every other race other than the Black race coming, because other races would have done their homework, they would have done their research. They are coming in with loans from the credit union versus getting a loan from the dealer. They are not making as much money off of other races for interest and all the things than they are with us. And that's going to trickle down in this whole ecosystem of what's happening in the Middle East. There are going to be rising costs with vehicles, but we're going to go get these loans with the higher APRs, excuse me, higher interest rates, and we're going to have to, our money, if we have cash, right, will then be tied up to these loans. We have the lowest stock market exposure of, I want to say, any race. We have less participation in 401ks, which means that as people are making money on this market, the majority of us are not. So we don't have that pot. So again, I talked about, if your paycheck is stagnant, then you have to have areas that offset that. And one of the ways to offset that is through investing. It's through the stock market. It's also through a whole host of other ways that I have covered on this channel that don't require, I still believe you need to be in the market, but if you, for some reason are not, how are you making money? How are you making your money work for you? Because that's what the stock market does. Every dollar that you make should be deployed, not every dollar, excuse me, every dollar that you invest should be sent out as a worker to make money for you. And unfortunately, we don't fall in that category on a large scale. I don't know how many people know this, but Black households spend a disproportionately larger share of income on utilities. And it's going to get worse. The rising costs that we talked about with natural gas and electricity are going to compound faster for our community than it will for others. When it comes to food, we have fewer grocery options. So we can't necessarily go bargain or go hunting for bargains, is what I meant to say. So if you are in an area where there's only a Walmart and a Food Lion, you have to pay what they're telling you to pay, right? I am definitely a firm believer. If you have the opportunity to homestead, go ahead and homestead, start growing your fruits and vegetables. If you into chickens, get your eggs and all of that, because it will. And if you can't do it yourself, that's where the community building happens. And we've talked about that, so I don't want to get off tangent. We also, and this is where I really want to stop for a second. When it comes to offsetting whatever salaries that you're getting that are not increasing, maybe decreasing, you may lose altogether. That's when a small business comes in, because not only are you making money, you have tax write-offs. And we've talked about this through the RAIN Society. We talked about this through Maximize Assets, Grow Abundance. We have talked about this in so many different formats as part of the Gym Nation, that those who are OGs, you know. And if you are an OG and you took one of those courses, please continue to watch them. I am leaving the replays up for a reason, because most of that, 99.9% of that information is timely right now. Yes, you had a head start, but I know how we get busy, life happens. Go back, and if you only watch one video a week, please, because I promise you, there are nuggets and gems that you have forgot about that will make more sense to you now than it did a year ago, a year and a half ago. So small businesses, we talked about that with the Maximize Assets, Grow Abundance community in March of 2024, or was it 2025? 2025, might have been 2025. I think it was 2025. And it's still important because you're going to need shelters. And a small business is a great tax shelter. Um, Let me see if anybody's saying anything, because I can't see comments. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in. It's 31 minutes. I literally am going to try to get through this in the next. We're going to be out of here within 8 minutes. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. And we're going to be back tomorrow as well. We're going to, so I do want to do, okay, brief intermission time. I will not be talking about the Nolan story. Not because I don't think it's important, not because I'm not sympathetic to it. I'm hyper focused on making sure we stay ready so we don't get ready. If I talked about Nolan, there are at least 10 other similar stories that are not getting the same type of press, that are not getting the same type of attention. And I would have to talk about them as well. We are going to see more of these type of stories. And I believe there are some people that are doing good jobs, really good jobs in coverage of it. Y'all know anything related to Urban View Network, like I support. So if that information that you want to consume, there are journalists that are doing God's work in getting, to the bottom of what's going on. But I have made a conscious decision not to cover that information. But what I am going to cover is the attack on some of our institutions. We've talked about it previously before, everything from the Smithsonian to the HBCUs. There are others. There was another one on the top of mine. What's going on with like the Essence Festival. And my personal take, many of you know I went to a HBCU. Howard has been in the news for the past few days. I'm going to give my honest take on what's going on with the unenrollment. I'm also going to give my honest take of what's happening with the Essence Festival, where there can be improvements and where Essence completely dropped the ball. And then I'm also going to talk about the Smithsonian and some of the other museums and historical they're not all museums, but libraries and things like that that are under attack. So I'm going to do a video probably about that. What's today? Today is Tuesday. That will happen on Thursday. I have a pre-produced video dropping tomorrow. And so Thursday, we will talk about the attack on our institutions. So I just wanted to level set some of the conversations, but all of this, any conversation I have moving forward, and that's why I stopped doing like what a week, because the news is going to be the news. And I understand sometimes the news is promotions, propaganda, distractions, all of that, distractions and all of that. We have to hyper focus, period, exclamation point. And so that was my little PSA. And let's get back to the story at hand. So we talked about the small businesses and making sure that, we set ourselves up for protections. And we have to pay attention to the ones who know how to weather these types of storms. And one of those ways is to have your own business, have very few things in your own name, and also make sure that your wills and your trust and all of that is set up. So we're also going to do another video about that next week. Also, when it comes to the military and veterans households, Black Americans are overrepresented in active duty services. Not only will more of us be targeted to lose our jobs, which means losing money and all of that, the ones that aren't, they will be deployed. There will be family separation. There will be a strain to the family household is what I'm trying to say. And so financially, we know that service members, they don't get paid a whole lot. How will that income help to offset the inflation? Or will it? So if you or someone has family members that may deploy, a husband, a wife, a son, a daughter, do the math on how that is going to either help or hurt your household. We overrepresent in these areas, and these are the areas that we need to, talk about, just like being on the chopping block at a lot of these government offices, as well as some of these private sectors and even public sector companies like the Targets. And it's not just Targets. I don't want to just say them, but many of the top companies, the top Fortune 500 companies that have eliminated key roles, positions, executives that are going to, that's going to take a hit financially as the inflation continues to rise based on what's happening in the Middle East. And then the HBC funding. So that's another. People are so easy to be swayed. I promise you. The masses are so easy to be swayed. And these calculated stories that are coming out about Howard, about Tuskegee and other HBCUs, South Carolina State, are calculated. But I'm going to talk more about that on Thursday. But just know that funding is being decimated to these schools. So things that they were able to allow to happen, and I'm not talking, let's talk specifically about Howard for a second. We'll talk more about this on Thursday. They can no longer let happen. They can't allow people to pay months after they said they were going to pay. $69 million, I think it was, just gone from federal funding to Howard. So we'll talk more about the HBCUs who rely on federal funding more than a lot of the other private institutions. And so we need to stop being so gullible. And when I say we, I don't mean you who's listening. I mean we as a collective, because they know they can tell us anything and we're going to run with it and we're going to tell the story. I mean, heartbreaking when I think about just how easily swayed we can be. We talked about the cost of borrowing. We have to be careful with interest rates on everything from credit cards and any type of personal loan. If you've noticed, I'm sure most of you within the sound of my voice have been inundated with additional, oh, apply for this credit card. Oh, you're pre-approved for this credit card, or you pre-qualify for this credit card or this loan. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. If you don't need to do it, please don't do it. And if you need to do it the right way. Know how to borrow. I believe debt. I believe in debt now. I believe debt is a good thing. That's you just have to know how to manage debt and use other people's money the right way. And most of us haven't learned that game. And so again, I really again just wanted us to take a minute to think about this. This is, I was going to say the new world order, but I don't know if that's the right phrase, but this is going to be our new normal. Let's just say that this is going to be our new normal, that things are going to cost way more than they did. The one consistent thing is, listen, when my mama was young, right, a bag of potato chips may have cost 5 cents. When I was young, a bag of potato chips cost 25 cents. The next generation, a bag of potato chips costs $1 and change. Like, this is the fact of life. It's our new normal, but it's happening at warp speed. And we just really need to know that everything that's happening, the conflict, the executive orders, all of that, are to make it happen faster than normal, than we are used to. So, which means these prices and everything that we've gone over in these different categories are going to go up in an expedited way. And so we have to then offset or subsidize our income and get those additional income streams in an expedited way, because you will blink. You will blink. And those dollar potato chips are going to cost $4, right? That $4 tank of gas is going to cost $7. And if you're not prepared, if you don't have a stash, if you don't know how to use debt in a good way, it won't be pretty. And so let me just see what's going on. Doesn't look like much is going on, but I do appreciate everyone for tuning in, because many of us are simply not ready for what this war is going to actually cost us. And many of us are so distracted so easily. Listen, there's a reason why this story about Malcolm Jamal Warner is coming out. There's a reason why there's the story about Whitney Houston and Oprah Winfrey. There's a reason why, and it's not because these news stories have anything to do with the cost of tea in China, right? They're distractions. Let's stop being distracted. And with that being said, I'm going to say, it's 43 minutes. I only expect it to be here 30 minutes. Check me out on Thursday, where we're going to talk about the attack on our institutions, what we need to be focused on, what we need to pay attention to, what they want, what they're trying to get us to pay attention to, and what we need to do as they attack these very important institutions that they're scared of. Let's just say that. And with that being said, I will say, have a beautiful Tuesday. I can't believe it's Tuesday already. I will see everyone on Thursday. Be sure to check out, I do have to do a screenshot. Hold on a second. I do have to do a screenshot so I keep forgetting to do this, y'all. There we go. So if you missed yesterday's video, please check that out. We had a great conversation about the changes to the residency process, and how if you are thinking about moving abroad to any country, don't delay. Things are changing and they're changing rapidly. I even did a playlist to include the previous videos where I covered this. Don't sit on this information. We see what's happening to our young men. We see what's happening to our young women. Have options. And on that note, I'll say good night. Have a good one, and I'll see everyone on Thursday. Peace.